So I pulled up the recent PQ. I think you were the only PQ winner actually on the week. Was it week 4? It was week 4, yeah.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yep.
so can you introduce yourself?
Yeah. My name's Drew. You know me on the Discords as Cold Pad Thai. Uh, I'm a longtime Rhinar player. I've done my rounds getting LL points for him,
Nice.
and now Oscilio came out, and it's one of the most fun decks I've ever played in Fab
Yeah,
or any
that
card
is
game.
that is what all people resonate that have actually like also like, sort of figured out where they can win it with the deck. It's like the most fun deck ever. Even if you lose,
Yep.
I still.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, I brought him to. I haven't played any PQs until this week,
Oh,
and
100% win rate
uh,
then.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, I judged my local PQ, and then there's a PQ like 3.5 hours away, and I kind of on a whim just decided, you know what, I just want to play one. I've been practicing so much Acilio with no intention of even playing any PQs because I'm just like, I don't know if I can even make it. And I was like, I just want to play at least one. I put so much work into this deck. I want to test it out, and then I won. So that was cool.
Yeah, that was a good testing.
Yeah, it was great testing.
Yeah, but
um,
like this list I got interested in because you kind of like, there's been hovering for 3 weeks, kind of like switchboard, then the blast version, and then now the defensive mid range version, and you kind of like put them all together into one, right?
yeah,
Or can you
yeah,
say
that's how it
that?
feels. Yeah, I'd say that. I really like all the different ideas. Um, I really before this list, my main list was a blast abuse version that was going really hard on it, where it's like in the sideboard, I would be able to side in 3 yellow blast and 3 yellow electrostatic discharge, just to try to make that the big combo turn as best as possible.
Yeah.
Um, but when you play towards the combo too much, you'll lose a lot of games where you get disrupted because you can't block as well, and you know, drawing hands with like you'll with 6 blast, you're inevitably going to draw hands with like 3 blast to oblivion and no instance,
Yeah, that's
or even just one instant. It's like this isn't good enough.
yeah, that's 100% true. And then you kind of like realize that at the end of the day, you don't need that big of a combo to win the game. It's like people got 40
Yeah,
life, and the deck does aggro slash tempo slash mid range really well, either way. So
yep,
it's
yeah.
like, go
Oh,
ahead,
go
go
ahead.
ahead.
All right. I like to think that us as like people played Verdants very early in the meta, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I was also on the Verdants train because I mean all the heroes in this set are really cool. I played all of them at this
Very
point
true.
except for Aurora,
Yeah.
which is silly because she's the most popular one. But uh, I played a lot of Verdants just on Talishar because the combo was really fun. I actually really enjoyed the combo, and
Did you play
Verdance
this?
players.
Did you play the counter blessings combo one
I
or?
never played Counter Blessings. I always
Okay.
did the.
Yeah,
I
just
just
the
relied
random
on the
pass.
healing potions.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Fair.
yeah.
Worked.
So it was just healing potions, and we went through a stage where it was like, um, we felt like we needed forked lightning. Like, oh, forked lightning really makes the combo crazy.
Yeah.
And then we realized you don't need, So we went through a phase where like, oh, I got to put in forked lightnings, and it's got to be a 60 damage turn or whatever, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think Acilio, and then we realized now you need an Aether arc at the end. It doesn't matter. And I think Acilio might have gone through a similar thing where we felt like, man, this combo turn is crazy. What if we made it even crazier?
Yeah. That's
And
that's true. That's true.
yeah,
That's that's something that I've been talking a lot since like week 1, where it's like my statement is that you don't need that big of a combo, because it's like the thing with Australia as well is that if people you get people like early very low, because your Greaves combo usually leads to another big turn, right?
yeah,
Where your opponent just has nothing and you get like full hand or like 6 card hand or whatever,
yeah,
and then they are like 15, 10 HP, and now suddenly they need to start blocking, or they die to
yeah,
like any arcane because it's sort of dominated damage.
yeah,
So it's like a combination of all things, really.
yeah. That's been my experience with him. Uh, your goal, like if you kill someone on the combo turn, that's great, but you're really just looking to like fundamentally kill them. Where it's just like I've put you in such a bad position for the rest of the game that my arcane's gonna leak through and get you.
Yeah, 100%. And usually Greaves is like, at least for me, they you draw a hand that like has bunch of instants that don't like the hand doesn't do much, but you can like if you have blast or gun, then you kind of like just upgrade your hand into very good value one time,
Yeah,
and then you have like funnels or like stuff with blast that makes like your normal turns with embodiments like really crazy either way.
really crazy. Out of nowhere, you're just like, I don't know how I amped 6, but I did.
Yeah, because I went in armory as well. I went with with like an alright decent blast combo, which is doing like the blast is really good at ramping up Volzar. It doesn't do as much physical as gun, but you do
Mhm.
big Volzar. And then the next turn was off of three brilliances, 8 card hand. And I was like, okay.
Yeah, yeah. It's the next turn that is crazy. Like, and I use blast for similar things. Like, I'll use it without an embodiment
Yep.
on like I'll maybe block with 1 or 2 cards, no arsenal. Uh, I don't know, even just like you have a conductivity out. Let's say you have a blast and a sigil of lightning or aether or something. Like it's
Yeah.
one of your lesser ones, and you just I don't know. I just want an embodiment for next turn. Then you arsenal the sigil you just brought back to your hand.
Yeah, and that's like super fantastic. That is like the absolute best way of how to unfuck your next turn, which is like important
Exactly.
part of
Yep.
Australia. And that is why I really rate Blast up to Oblivion very highly myself.
Hmm.
And I'm actually excited that you brought Blast to Oblivion in this list. So I guess we can start going over the cards, right? You talked about
Yeah.
Blast already, but is there like more to it that you feel like is kind of like undiscovered or because it's like very hard card to play, and that was like the whole
It's a
point of
yeah.
the Blast Abuse list to actually learn to play the card better.
Yeah. Blast has it's a very like it's a complex card. I mean, you read it and you're like, wow, there's a lot that can happen with this card. Like in some matchups, it's a disruption card. Like
Yeah.
against KO, brutes in general, you delete agility tokens. Against the best value I've ever gotten off a blast is someone Zen State tokened, and then
Ooh.
pop chest for Zen State, and I'm like, okay, Sigil of Solace, pop your Zen State, and it's just like that's so backbreaking.
Yeah.
And just read Acilio's cards at least once, because then you won't fall into those kind of traps. Card's amazing, and then then for your own deck, it gives your Sigil conductivities a ton of value by being there because I'm not playing Glyph Overlay. So
Yeah.
the only value I'm getting out of them sitting there is really to reduce Volzar, which is the main purpose, and the secondary purpose is Blast to Oblivion now can just generate embodiments quite easily, yeah, as long as those stay around.
Yeah, that is very true. It's very good at like you slam your first conductivity on the board if it's like almost like free opportunity cost, and then anytime you draw blast with an instant, it's just really good turn for a setup.
Really good. And I love doing Blast with Blink. It's so good. Like
Yeah.
that whole setup turn we talked about. Like, imagine that instant that we played that we like not begrudgingly played, but like it's fine. When you do Blink, it's just like wow, this is just free. Like Blast, Blink, Gone in a Flash, play the Sigil, return Gone in a Flash, Arsenal. Like crazy.
Yeah, that
That's
kind of thing. Or if you have an not arsenal, I mean arcane card, and you have
yep,
conductivity, you go blast, blink. Now you get the conductivity back. You play it back. You get free Volsar M3, which is
yep.
like almost over like AB. No, AB, not AB3, but AB2. It's like very small hand that does a lot of stuff.
Yeah, and there's a lot of people that just run AB 1 or 2 into Cilio, and
Yeah,
you get a lot of points by just you get a lot of points as a Cilio. I can talk about this for a second because I think Taylor also talked about this. You get to kind of punish whatever setup they decide to bring into you. If I sit across and they're like AB3 Spell Void 2, I'm like, okay, I guess I'll just like not do as much Arcane and attack you more
yeah,
because now I'm
that's true.
punishing your armor. And then if you bring in very low Arcane like AB 1 or 0, which people do bring in AB 0, and I don't think that's wrong necessarily. Depends on the deck, but
It depends. I
um,
do think it's a slightly wrong approach, but if
I
your
mean,
armor is like
I
really
definitely
good,
yeah.
then I can see that 100%.
I punish it every time I can. Like if you go AB0, I'm like, okay, amp 1 mind warp. This is awesome.
Yeah, it feels like so much easier to go over
It's so
AB0,
great.
AB1.
Yeah. Um. So that's one thing I've really liked about Oscilio. It's just you never feel like you're just shut out, but based on their armor suite, you're just like, okay, I'm just gonna play slight. I'm gonna adjust my plan of attack because my deck can do both.
Yeah, because we got if they have like AB3 and no armor, there's like a lot of breakpoint attacks that have draw on hit and whatever. So you just abuse like CLV side more or whatever.
Yep.
That's like really cool. Then how do we feel about Comet Storm? This was a
Oh
card.
yeah, card is a 3 for the rest of his days. This card's
Yeah.
so good.
Yeah, I can't believe I was a Comet Storm shock hater at first,
I
but
was I was at first too, and I think we just get scared off by like, I mean, we kind of compare. I think the initial thing is like we compare it to Burn Up Shock, and we're just like, why does this cost 4 or 2 each? You know?
yeah, and then there was that like which made sense, the first iteration of being like Cheerios where we don't want to pitch anything.
Yeah.
But then it just started to become like two off, then three off, and now everyone is like, "Why aren't you playing this card? You should play this card."
Yeah, I mean, one of the things it's so funny. This Acilio and Rhinar have like in playstyle have very funny similarities. Rhinar wants to do like intimidate combos, which is like the combo,
Yeah,
and then in Blood Rush stuff. And then he also had Reckless Wing, which I was very addicted to. Like I just love killing people on their turns with that thing. And Acilio gets to play 5 or 6 Reckless Wings that also can block and be cycled,
pretty much.
which
Yeah,
was the one thing I hated about Reckless Wing is like, oh my god, I drew 2 in my hand. It is
yeah,
a bad hand.
yeah, right. Because this is like
Yeah,
the Kano effect as well. So people want to play Storm Riders. Why would you ever play those over Grease? Just take this like two cost one shock. It's good enough.
it's good enough. Yeah, like people, I get asked a lot. They're like, how much life can you kill me at on my turn?" Actually, it went in stages. First, it was I would literally hear people at Armory and other events, or even online, and be like, "I don't think you can kill me on my turn." Okay, I'll go to 2, and then I kill them on their turn. And then it evolved into how much can you kill me from? That's where we're currently at. People don't know exactly how much Acilio can kill at,
Yeah,
and the answer is like 4 or 5.
that is usually the break one. Yeah, it depends on their AB, of course. Um, but yeah, that hand requires sigils and instants, and high voltage pumps it up, but you're not playing high voltage here. We'll get to that later. But
Hmm.
yeah, it's usually like people are still pretty bad at blocking Australia because when you do like gun flash or whatever flaring charge, and they're at like 10, and then they go no blocks because they try to kill you on their turn, and
It's
it's
like,
like that's it's not a good thing, buddy.
yeah, you don't, yeah, like I start at 36 and you start at 35. That's
Yeah,
the secret.
yeah. That's like yeah, that's the literally Storm Riders effect, but we don't need to play Storm Riders. Sorry, just
Yeah, we get to play even better. We get to play something that blocks one, has AB1, and has the most insane combo. Just that just starts in play.
yeah, that's right. How about you feel
Awesome.
about then Somersault?
Love Somersault. Card's amazing. Even just last night, like we talked about Blast to Oblivion, and like, oh yeah, like we talked about the middle of the
Yeah,
turns, but the highest thing you can do is like your combo turn. Like I actually did this last night. I played with some buddies in person, and it was I drew up a hand of 4 cards, and it was Gone in a Flash, Sigil of Brilliance, Blast to Oblivion,
and
and Electromagnetic Somersault.
yeah, that is
That's all.
like
That's all the right cards.
the Exodia hand of Australia, really.
Yeah, it's the golden hand, and the draw. Like so, you play Blast. You Gone in a Flash, Sigil. This is all with Greaves up, right? So you're getting all these action points back.
Yeah.
Gone in a Flash, Sigil of Brilliance, return Gone in a Flash, Blast to Oblivion, and then you in the reaction step do your Somersault, so you can return it back to your hand. The Blast to Oblivion triggers, puts the Sigil of Brilliance back in your hand. You draw a new card. The card I drew was another Somersault.
Oh,
It was
that goes
really bad for
hard.
them.
That's like
Yeah,
okay, you might miss like 10 Volzar value, but your opponent is taking like 40 from the
yeah, yeah.
attacks.
Yeah, and then the second, oh man, it was ridiculous. And then the second Blast to Oblivion somersaults got me because you just repeat the same thing over again.
Yeah.
That's already like 16 damage, and then like full arts just going crazy. Um,
And
and I turned into
your bindings are
playing.
going crazy if you are popping them too.
I decided not to pop bindings that turn, but I
And that's
still
fair
had
because it's
like
like,
amp 15 or something at the
yeah.
end of this turn, which was not used, but they still got them down from like 34 to 2 or 36 to 2 in one turn, just off physical damage.
Yeah, that's the like one person in Talshart said to me that's the monkey combo. Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you're also somersault. Yeah, I see it. So yeah, somersault, very good card. It's also just like it's a great arsenal target. Uh, like often I'm trying to play more. I'm trying to understand how to play better to not lose my Gon in flashes.
Yeah.
And part of that is kind of just IPing yourself every now and then. And one of my favorite ones to IP myself with is when I have Gon in a flash and a somersault. I'll keep the Gon and Flash in hand, put the somersault in arsenal, and now this Gon and Flash is getting even more value by sticking around by becoming a blocking and then somersault back to hand target.
Yeah, that's
Uh,
very reasonable because the 5 or 6 block out of somersault is like really powerful as well. Even four is like on
Even four
par.
is good.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's like basically it is a D react at
it is
that
the
point.
react. Yeah.
It's one of the it's such a good card, and it's not obvious how how good it is, but it pairs so well with many of the cards in the deck. Like obviously Blast to Like it's actually funny. The one it pairs the worst with is Gone in a Flash because Gone in a Flash is like I already got that.
Mm-hmm.
I can do that on offense. But even then, I'm still totally happy on a combo turn to have it.
Yeah.
Uh, like E Strike and Flittering Charge, they're both like I sometimes will do it on current funnel, but usually I just don't need that many action points.
Yeah, usually you waste a little bit of like the go again if you do it to current form, but if you have like CLVs and a lot of draws, it does a lot of stuff. The floor is like, or like I mean the ceiling is like infinite.
Yeah, it's crazy, and you never know if you're gonna have a hand that's like, I don't know. It'd be kind of cool to do 2 Comet Storms this turn.
Yeah, that's true. Um, I guess we don't need to talk about much of discharge.
Yeah, it's just a good card.
It's just the instant 0 for 4 basically. It's synergizes with the deck 100%. Okay.
Yep.
Anyways, E-Strike. This has been
Yeah,
coming up more and more in the lists.
yeah. I I was a person. Excuse me. He E-Strike has been in and out, down and up. Like I wouldn't say like totally out. It's never been totally out of the deck,
Yeah.
but it's been like a sideboard card more often than it has been a main board card. Like
Yeah.
it was like I kind of only want it in Big Spell, and I want my Cheerios list to be very Cheerio, and I didn't consider this a Cheerio, but it's just in the main deck as a 3 of now. The card's just too flexible for us not, and we, I forget who said it, or if it's just something that the Fab community says a lot, but if your deck can play all 3 modes of E-Strike, then you should be playing E-Strike.
Yeah,
And
that's
Oscilio can play all 3 modes very easily.
yeah, I've heard that as well being the version of if your deck can do E-Strike draw a card, then you're doing something right.
Yep. And he could just do E-Strike. I do E-Strike draw a card almost 90% of the time, I swear.
Same, same.
Like, even if I don't have the action point to come back from, it's like, I don't know, my deck is there is half instance. I have a really good shot at just drawing a sigil of connectivity or sigil of lightning or something. Like, or sometimes you just draw sigil of brilliance. You're like, well, that was perfect.
Yeah,
You just throw throw the sigil out and then arsenal the other card. Great.
indeed. And it also blocks 3. So
It does block 3.
the more block 3s we have, the better the somersault also is.
Yep.
And now that this more mid-range style, you do like to oftentimes or sometimes block more. Um,
I've definitely been blocking a lot more lately, and it's been very good.
yeah, it's been very fantastic for me as well. Just the fact of delaying the game where you don't need to just because I personally hate the gameplay of let's throw our first 3 hands and like look at the numbers what we can throw at each
Mhm.
other of not blocking. Okay, you win. Let's go
Okay,
to a
you win,
use.
I win. Like if when
Yeah,
I win, it's kind of fun. When I lose, it's not fun at all.
yeah,
Because it's like this deck has so much agency, which is something like in the first few weeks, like we're like, I don't know, Acilio's really great, but he's kind of volatile. And the better I've gotten, like the more games I've jammed with him, which oh my god, you have to jam a lot of games into
yeah,
Acilio to
yeah,
like actually understand it. And like yeah, just getting to this list, I'm just like, yeah, this is kind of like this is the best list I've made so far. Um, and I've tried a lot of things. Like I have an embarrassing amount of oscilio deck lists in my fabrary,
No,
just
yeah,
trying
same.
new different things all over the place.
Yeah, same.
Um, yeah, E-Strike, extremely consistent card. I don't think it doesn't come out in any matchup. It's always there.
I did the same. I actually played yesterday in the armory. I played. I'm missing still two E-strikes that are in the mail. I played your list
Mhm.
basically, but I just swapped the E-strikes for two yellow blasts. But I think I took them out in every matchup. But yeah,
Yeah, yep. I think that's a good swap though, because like when it comes to budget lists for Acilio, you can build this deck on a budget
yeah,
and just play like there's nothing wrong with playing the 6 or 5 blast list. Your blocking gets a little worse, but like not by so much that like you have to switch to a full combo deck or anything. And it opens up it raises your ceiling quite a bit, potential.
it does.
Um, but I like having the floor being really high and the ceiling being pretty much just as high.
That's the same. That's the same that I've been chasing all this time because your ceiling is already high enough with Gun, Flash, and
It's
Greaves.
crazy.
That's
Yeah.
like it's there. You don't need to touch it. Just bring the floor up, and the deck will be good. And now that we have more agency on like blocking, you get to play longer games. You get to show you are the better player and navigate
Hmm.
the turns correctly. The deck gets like really crazy, and people are still
Crazy.
like
Yeah.
people that have not played a lot of Oscilio or have not paid attention to Oscilio are still resonating the statement of that. Oh, but weakest link. Oh, but any disruption. It's like no, it's
Yeah. It
still
doesn't
like
really work.
it's not like sure we take a little collateral damage on erase phase, but it's like block
Yeah.
6 and their turn doesn't do much. Then we send like back E-strike or gun flash sigil or arsenal
Yeah.
gun whatever. It's still
Yeah.
like super good.
Well, yeah. One of my games, in the PQ, I forget which one. I'll have to remember. I don't. I'm actually getting my PQ games now mixed up with other just random games I've played in person or in Talishar.
Yeah, yeah.
I've just been playing so much Fab lately, but I do remember a game where I was like I had like a 4 card hand, a Sigil, a Brilliance that's gonna pop, and an Arsenal, no spell, and I'm like, well, this is like a great Gone in a Flash turn for Greaves, and I don't even care about a spell right now because I'm gonna play Gone in a Flash 6 times.
Yeah, that is
So I'm gonna take this erase face, and I'm just gonna combo anyways. Or my partner plays Victor, and I took a
oh
Spinal Crush, and I comboed anyways. Doesn't
yeah,
matter.
yeah. This is like I've been playtesting internally in the jarl as well, and it's like because people nowadays come ask often how will the jarl matchup be. Will also they'll be doomed. Can
Yeah.
I even buy the card? No, it's like um, they played hypothermia on me, and I was like, oh,
Yeah.
okay. I play Sigil of Either. I play um, no wait, what did I play? I think I played actually the embodiment Sigil, like lightning connectivity. Played
Yep.
blast, played blink, got that back, then played gun in the flash, go again, Sigil of Either, play another blast, and then just pick up with instant the what is that? No, it wasn't gun and flash because there's no go again. But basically, it just was only like blast that created me an embodiment, and then I also got to pick up Sigil of Aether for 5 with like
Yeah.
just blink and no go against. It's like, and
Yeah. Because
they
Blink. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, and they were like, oh, I guess you can do that. So yeah,
Yeah. Asilia's a robot. He's not really affected by ice.
yeah, no, it's
But yeah, people have been asking me a lot about Jarl as well, and I'm like, I don't think it'll be that bad. Like the blue count keeps going higher and higher in this list.
yeah,
Um, and if we need to throw in more blues, that's not really. I'm not upset about it at all, really. Like
no,
we're at 16 blues as a base, so Jarl is just like okay. In my Victor sideboard, I take out some blues, but I'll just keep them in for Jarl and take out something else.
yeah, yeah,
It's fine.
that's fair, and
I'll just
well,
take out
when
Flittering Charge.
well, I
I
guess
don't
when
know.
the like the whole deck is figured out, when the Jarl stuff comes out, it like probably will be a little unfavored. But
Yeah.
the things that it does to the meta or the like real Redline decks is like so positive for us that I'm excited.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I don't want to play like he's going to be I haven't even thought about it much, but until just the second, but he's going to be great against Azalea and I would love for something to like shut out Azalea for a bit.
Same. I really hate the Celia, but
That's my least favorite so far.
yeah.
Prism doesn't exist though. Also,
Gladly doesn't exist. Probably
yeah.
does not come back if Charl is the meta. So,
Yep.
uh,
Uh,
what next?
next card it would be etchings, I guess. I
Yeah,
mean, it's not much to say. It's a good card.
yeah.
It's
It's
like one of
just
our best surge targets. If I get it too early, I'll block with it. I'll pitch it to Volzar because we like to save our Arcane for later in the game if it goes that long.
yeah.
Um, yeah,
That's that.
it's a good
It's
card.
really good insight, especially in the pitching one. Um,
Yeah, pitching or blocking with it is totally fine. Like, and I'll just like Volzar is a secret like uh pitch outlet. Like, I'll pitch to Volzar a lot in a game
yeah,
just
I
to
do
like
that
cycle
too.
cards.
Yeah, I do that too. Not to IP cards that I don't want. I just
Yeah, yeah, I get a lot of
in
eyebrow raises where it's like I play sigil, hold priority, pitch to Volzar like a flittering charge I can't use, and there's like, okay, and I'm like, yeah, this is actually a good move. You just don't know.
yeah, same thing, same thing. People don't know, but that's what I learned from Kana. To do that a lot, and it carries on in Australia. So next we got Fluid in Charge. That's good.
Good, great card. Um, it's a good one of the best somersault targets. Right, you
Hmm.
somersault it, gets go again, goes back to your hand, and then you probably play it again with another instant to get go again. I only take it out against Victor and against, well, I will be taking it out against Jarl, because hypothermia sucks and
Yeah,
just don't really. And it's a maybe on taking it out against Jarl. I don't want to take it out just because of hypothermia. I played 0 games against him, so I'm not going to comment too much about it. But I take it out against Victor because I want to go more big spell, and I don't want as many attacks because then that just gives his test of strengths more value.
that is very good insight. I guess we can go over the matchup differences.
Hmm.
So let's actually speed through these cards
Yeah, let's
now.
do
I
it.
guess
Let's do it.
like, do we need to talk about Ganon Flash a lot?
Not really. If you're making a budget deck, this is where most of your budget's going to go to.
Yeah, I did the video on the budget deck, and it's like my statement
Yeah,
was that it's Greaves and Ganon Flash. That's like the cards you
that's the
need to
Yep.
invest. Unfortunately,
Yeah, but very fortunately, they're also really good cards, and Acilio abuses them the best.
they are, and I think like on the budget side, Oscilio is like one of the cheapest decks that you can play. It's like
It's crazy.
if
Yeah,
you want to
like I was
play
playing.
if you want to play a competitive CC deck,
Yep.
then it's there, but they will be expensive.
Yeah. What was I going to say about him? He
Sorry.
like I was playing Oh, you're good. I remember now. Blossom of Spring. Like I was playing Blossom of Spring only for a very long time.
Yeah.
It's not until recently that I play both Spring and Tunic.
Hmm.
Blossom of Spring and Find All Spring Tunic. So like Blossom of Spring is already like like spend your $2, $1 on Blossom of Spring, and that's basically your chess piece of choice, anyways.
Yeah, that's very good. Sigil of Solace 3 off. I love it. Why?
Card's so good.
Yeah.
It gains 3 life. It discards to draw. I actually won multiple games in my PQ just because I played towards drawing a Sigil of Solace at the right moment, and it put me at exactly enough to not die, which then put them in either, like in the case of Dash.io, I fatigued one in my semifinals.
Ooh.
My good friend, very 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 good player, and she like it was funny. We played round 4 and we played in semis, and the first time was like I just beat her with damage and good spells, and she kind of whiffed on some of her things. So she got bad variants, I got good variants, which is like, you know, if she's having bad variants, then I'm going to try to punish it with actually playing more aggressively. And then in the second game, in the semifinals, I fatigued her, and it was because of Sigil of Solace that I fatigued her. Like I drew, I discard to or I fate for scene, opted one, put one on the bottom, discarded, drew a Sigil of Solace, gained 3 life, went to, I was taking 2 damage while I was at 1. Now I'm suddenly at 4. Now I'm suddenly alive, and she has 0 cards in deck.
Wonderful. And like having that choice is really cool.
Really cool. I've definitely discarded it. It's also just another, like, Acilio's cool if you go second, which I think is like kind of preferred for most matchups at this point, because you want to just drop free sigils, free stuff on their turn. Sigil of Solace is one of the best, and we've known that since the game came out.
Yeah.
Yeah, Great card.
Yeah, that's what is going more nowadays. Going to second because the deck just blocks better now as well. So
Hmm.
it's like, um, I in Armory I went first into, I think it was Dash.io because they prefer going first, so I wanted to steal that.
Hmm.
So I played Brilliance, two Sigil of Solaces, Arsenal Pass. So like, okay.
That's fantastic. Yeah. I'm gonna go to 42 and start with a 5 card hand next turn. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Channel Lightning Valley. This has been like a little bit of debate. Some people think this is like the best card in the deck. Some people think it's not even three off. What do you think?
I think it's a good card in the deck. That's kind of where I'm at with it.
Yeah.
It's we're not abusing it. So we what Acilio gets to do with the lightning pool is he gets to really abuse Gone in a Flash and he gets to abuse Lightning Greaves. He
Mm-hmm.
does not get to abuse Channel Lightning Valley. Aurora gets to do that, but Channel Lightning Valley still like I will overpitch as much as I can to keep it around if I'm trying to combo on like the following turn because a combo turn with a Lightning Valley already in play is really really strong.
Yeah. It's like,
So there, yeah, you can play towards it.
yeah, and the Lightning Valley is interesting card where it's like super contextual in the game and turn based. If it's like super good card or just cycle it.
Yep.
But it's like at worst, I guess it's like you cycle it anyways if you play it sort of.
Yeah,
But
I'm very happy with the card. It also plays well with Blast to Oblivion, where
yeah,
if you can't keep it around for the second turn, like it has one flow counter, it's going to go to two. You can Blast, play a Sigil, return Lightning Valley, and then Arsenal the Lightning Valley. Like I'm very happy with those kinds of plays.
yeah, and
Uh,
Lightning Valley is like one of the best Arsenal targets into heavy disruptive decks that want to
yes,
send CNC and whatever.
yep, yeah, I definitely am looking to Arsenal Lightning Valley a lot because of exactly that situation. And what Acilio does get to do is you can try to shock someone on their turn to draw an extra card, which
Yeah.
gives your lightning value more value, but it doesn't necessarily make your hand better every time.
Yes.
So
I
you kind of have
actually,
to choose when you want to do that.
yeah, but it's like wonderful to have these options where it's like
Exactly.
a lot
Yeah.
of the times win-win situations for us, but it's super
Yeah.
hard to get to that level to actually see those things. So I actually did
Yeah.
that in my PQ game. I think it was round four, where the opponent Kasai attacked me. I had Sigil of Aether on board. I had Valley in Arsenal, and then they are AB1. So I played. My hand was kind of bad. So I played
Hmm.
Valley, and then I plucked with Flash of Brilliance,
Yep.
targeting the Sigil of Aether, and then pumped it with Voltar. Take two damage, or they take like one damage, two damage,
Yep.
and I get to draw a card and fix my hand. So it's like
Yep.
has a lot of
Yeah. I
cool
love that.
lines.
That's really cool. Plus, you just put the Sigil of Aether back in your hand, so if you don't want to replay it, you can just ditch it and
Yeah,
fix your hand even more.
yeah, and like
It's
the name of
really
Sigil being in your hand in the board is like really big.
yeah.
So then Mind Warp.
It's just the best arcane spell in the deck.
Yeah.
It's the one I want to play the most, even more so than etchings a lot of the time because well, okay, I guess it's contextual, right? In the Agromir, which is kind of where Mind Warp is best,
Hmm.
you really just want to like fuck up their hand as best as possible. Like if they're going no block, no block, no block, you get to punish them. I did that in my PQ game, quarterfinals. It was against KO. I was at 2 life, and he was at 27.
Yeah.
Whoa, that's kind of scary. Just
Yeah.
kidding. I'm a Cilio. It doesn't matter. So then I comboed right then and there, and he took it all because he's KO, and I think he brought an AB3, so I didn't have to worry about flesh bag. And then I was just like, okay. And then I amp 8, and then mind warp for 10, and it put him down to like 3. And his hand that he kept went all the way down to a 3 card hand, and he didn't have an arsenal at that point. And then his next turn was just attack with Clash of Agility for 7. And I was like, okay, block 7. And then I just kind of get to do a blockout game until I find my, like in a turn or two, I found my shock and killed him.
Yeah, that's really cool.
It's so Mind Warp was the one that facilitated me because he even told me after the game, he's like, man, I had a crazy hand. I was going to deal 16 damage to you. And I'm
Yeah.
like, yep. And then you didn't.
That is like it's the search that is pretty much always on, which is like big thing,
Yep.
as well as the
Yeah.
disruption.
Yeah. That's what I really like about it. It's just the surge is always relevant. It's hard to come
I
by.
I played in internal testing like 10 games against Viscera. I lost all of them, But every time I mind warped and I got to surge through, I thought that this is like really good spot to be in, and my
Yep.
opponent just drew their hand, and they were no, actually this was against Aura, not Viscera. Every time my
Mhm.
opponent drew the hand, the 4 card hand, it was like every single time he threw into one of the power cards, Burn Up Shock or the Arc
Mhm.
Lightning or Channel Lightning Value, and I was like, what?
Oh, like you're fixing their hands.
Yeah. That happens
I've
sometimes
had
too.
that. Yeah. Mind warp is funny, right? Sometimes you fix their hands, but you can't like. It's actually funny. The Dash.io player I was talking about is a good friend of mine,
Mm,
and we've jammed a lot of games, and she's like, the joke is now like, mind warp for 10, fix your hand. Like that's how I call it out. And she's
yeah,
like, yep, yeah, you fixed my hand. Now I get to max V. And I'm like, I don't know how going down a card helps you max V, but
it is what it
you know,
is, but it's like,
you just take your chance. You're just getting a card out of their hand. That's the point.
yeah, most of the time you win the gamble. Sometimes you lose, but it's like card games. If you put
Well,
people to draw
yeah,
cards, stuff happens.
yeah, and even in those situations, like, yeah, it still went down a card, so I still get to block better.
Yeah,
uh Potentially like keep a 2 card hand like Gone in a Flash plus Sigil of Solace or something is like what I'm looking to keep.
yeah,
um I don't know, like, yes, I make their like turn a little better, but their hand was still less cards. They're not going to arsenal typically as much. And then yeah, it's the cards are just fantastic. I can't say. I'm so happy Mind Warp is good. I've wanted to play it since it came out, and it just has not.
same.
There's only been 2 wizards, and it's a yellow, so it didn't work in Icelander.
I
It's
I
just
I ordered it like 80 cents a piece for my Kano when I
nice.
started because I was like, this is like the best zap, the best surge effect. Box 3 is
Yeah,
yellow, but it's like not good enough in any sense there. But now we have a home
yeah,
for it.
yep. Finally.
Okay, null shock then.
Yeah, this one's contentious with a lot of people, but I fucking love this card.
Same.
Excuse my language. This card is the best card. I love this
Nah,
card
you're
so
good.
much. It's a 1 cost shock. What I like to say to people is like, you know, because they're like null shock in your main board, and I'm like, but sometimes they'll even just say like, oh, you have null in your main board. I'm like, no, you're missing the point. It's
Yeah,
not null, it's shock.
that's what
It's
everyone
shock.
says. Funnily enough, that is the null cool good? Why don't you play Aetherize? Because Aetherize is a lightning card that deals 1 damage at instant
Yeah,
speed.
exactly. Yeah, this is what do you mean you want to play 2 more reckless wings that pitch for yellow? That you can it's just better than reckless wing, right?
Yeah.
But that's like my frame of reference coming from brute.
No, but it's like really cool to have different perspective on the cards and the context of them.
Uh-huh. Yeah, I
It's
agree.
very good.
No shock, fantastic card. I'm even happy to see it on the combo turn as like my arcane finisher,
Yeah.
cuz if like let's say I have 2 options to finish off the combo turn. I have a Gone in a Flash, a Null Shock, and just like a Blink. I think I'd rather typically just get the value of the arcane that I've generated on the combo turn. So I'd go Gone in a Flash, and then instead of playing the Blink, I'm gonna play the Shock because the Shock gets go again on the Greaves. So then you Shock, return the Gone in a Flash, amp Volzar for however much, return Gone in a Flash, and then if you want to play out Gone in a Flash one more time, you can.
Yeah.
Right.
Then
There's
yeah.
also potential that you just Gone in a Flash, Blink, Gone in a Flash, Arsenal Shock if they're low enough to like then kill them on their turn. It's so flexible. And then when you do you get to teach not new players but players that are unfamiliar with oscilio about how ridiculous null can be, because I've definitely taught some players in my area to never meld against oscilio.
Oh yeah, 100%. It's like yeah, burn up a shock melded or CLVs. They can't be melded, but like yeah, good targets.
Yeah, clv is like what can you do, but it's like even against Florian, I was my local Florian player who also went with me to this PQ.
Yeah.
She played Arcane Seed's Life once, melded against me, and she never did that again.
Yeah.
It's
It's
like, oh,
good.
you end your turn, you have 3, and you just IP3'd yourself. That sucks.
Yeah,
But also,
that's like the thing with like multi-purpose instance in Australia that they are just super good. That they are fixable, but they
mhm,
do their job in their slot that they are meant to be in. Kind of like Sigil of Solace technically blocks 3 as an
yep,
instant. Null Shock, it's an arcane. This one is an arcane and blocks 3. So
Yeah, it does all the best modes on that one.
yeah.
I won my PQ off of just Combat Storm for 6. That's how I won. That's my last card I played.
And it was
So
actually like on my PQ as well. I drew really bad hands most of the games, but like the first game against Verdance, the game went long. My first 4 hands were bad, but I just played big spell each turn, and the damage
mhm,
just stick. The
yep,
damage just stuck on my opponent, and once I got around to hand that does like decent combo, they were at 16 and sent felling at me, and I'm like, okay, bottom this card, now I kill you.
yep,
So
exactly.
it's like really cool side of the big spells that the damage just sticks.
Yep.
Sigil of Brilliance. I've seen people play this less and less now. How do you feel about this card? No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, I'd be like, "Oh, which list are you looking at?"
I don't know.
Card's amazing. Crazy, crazy card. I don't even know how much I can talk about it without just like saying very similar things to what I've already said. Card's amazing. It's an extra card. It's everything we want.
Yeah, it's our tone. With a lot of upsides and stuff
Yes.
like that. The game is like really different when you get to draw early brilliances.
Yep.
But nowadays with these kind of lists, we don't actually just insta lose where if we don't draw brilliances early. So it's cool.
Yeah. Like I don't even like I've been playing this list more and more, I've been less about like, oh, I need to draw Gone on Flash, I need to draw Sigil Brilliance. It's not necessarily the case. The game gets easier, but make it doesn't make or break your game at all
Yeah, and the
anymore.
thing is with like Fab in general, but in especially in Australia, I guess you go through your deck very quickly.
Mhm.
Is that at some point you will draw your hands, and if you can delay your game there, then it will happen.
Yep.
Blink.
Blink's also amazing. I don't even know. Like with Gone on Flash and Blast to Oblivion, you're just so happy to blink because we've described all these like, oh, if you have an embodiment and you Gone on a Flash and then you Sigil, then you get to keep going and it's not even the combo turn. Blink just does that automatically,
Yeah,
and then on the combo turn, it generates that crucial extra action point. I guess crucial lit. Nah, it's not crucial, but it's very very good because then you get to like if you want to because you're either ending your combo turn with a spell arsenaling Gone Flash, or you're ending your turn with playing out Gone Flash. You have an extra action point, and then you do your spell.
yeah, it's just
And
another
Blink is
5 damage.
yep, it's yeah the 4 plus fulls are so.
Yeah,
Blink just facilitates that perfectly. It also is just like, hey, this is really good with E Strike. Hey, this is really good with Blast to Oblivion. Uh, it's just great. I don't even know. It's also every lightning instant zero cost is basically high voltage without the amp. Like everything amps one.
yeah, and it's like
Obviously,
every single hand that you can imagine that you break into, Blink fixes that. Unless
yep,
it's like 5 instants, but then you just cycle Blink and it's
it's
like
great.
okay.
Yep, I'm totally happy to cycle it. I'm happy to pitch it. Very happy to play it.
I'm very happy about Blink. It's a cool card. I love it.
So cool.
Yeah.
Glad it's good.
Yep. Current phone.
Current funnel, very happy with it at 3 finally. I was definitely a hater. I was probably posting in the not
Same.
probably, I was posting in the Oscilio channel, being like, I think I'm cutting current funnel down to 1 because this thing has been clunking up my hands too much. And then but that was like when I was also trying to do, blast combo deck and trying to just like craft, not even craft, just like draw into the perfect hand. And when I draw current funnel in those hands, as you imagine, like 2 blast to oblivion, a current funnel, and like an arcane spell is a really bricked up hand.
Yeah.
But now that I'm playing more instants and I'm playing more go again enablers, uh, just like more cards that I can just throw, current funnel is now suddenly very good again. And it blocks 3, and it's a lightning card. I've definitely done a lot better with current funnel recently.
Yeah, and the thing is also that it's kind of in tandem with Blast to Oblivion, sort of, because every time you have Embodiment of Lightning coming up or on the
Yep.
board and you draw a final, it's like, oh, I have another Greaves turn, and that's
Yep.
how you like in the game in the context of the whole game you set up with Blast those kind of turns. So yeah,
I've
it's
definitely done some very fun stuff outside of Greaves turns. Because on Greaves turns, it's just like crazy amount of action points with it, but you're still happy to play it. It's still 2 damage plus a Volzar plus extra action points. Like
yeah,
on a Greaves, even on a non Greaves or Greaves turn, you could do like current funnel, like you did like maybe Gone in a Flash with an embodiment, return it to your hand, current funnel, gone in a flash, return it, do a spell. You could also do like the same thing I mentioned, but instead of gone in a flash after current funnel, you do etchings. Etchings now has go again. You Volzar amp it, get a sigil of brilliance back probably, and then just like gone in a flash, sigil, return gone in a flash, arsenal gone in a flash. Like
Yeah,
it's
and I
it's very
have
flexible.
yeah dealt like 20 damage. You have 3 cards left. I have Grease up next turn. Gun Flash Arsenal Brilliance on board. Good luck.
Yeah, good luck, good luck. I'm gonna have a 5 card combo hand.
Yeah, it's just fantastic card. I also hate it as well at first, but skill issue. So now it's like one of the
Skill
best
issue.
cards.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. That's it's like just like, and it's also preparing us for ice by having war blues in the deck.
Yeah.
I'm very happy with it.
And a 3 block. That's like
And a 3 block
not much to
that
go wrong.
can be somersaulted. Like
Indeed.
I can't complain anymore.
And the funny thing about current final as well, if you have CLV on board, usually it's the card that triggers
That
the
draws you a card.
CLV. Yeah.
Yeah, people don't want to block it.
Yeah, it's like a
I
very small thing, but it's like cool.
that's actually it happened in my PQ and it made my combo turn crazy.
Yeah, happens often.
Yeah.
Destructive Aether Tide. This as Hano was on either arc. You're at Aether Tide. Why?
Yeah, I really wanted to. So it's between the two, and potentially even just cutting out the extra 2 arcane spells. But I feel like this ratio of arcane spells is really, really nice.
What you're at?
Um,
11? Yeah, yeah, okay, I see.
11, and then I can go up to I think 14 with
Oh yeah, Spindle goes
Spindle
14. Yeah, it was missing there. Yeah.
at most. Yeah. So, like as a base, like when I play like the Super Cheerios version, which is basically just a couple extra cards, but
Yeah, Entwine
uh,
Press here.
Entwine Press is the Cheerios. It's like um I don't know. I never got the surge effect, right? It's a very conditional surge effect. And
Yeah.
sometimes games are so quick and you're also it's actually fun. During our conversation on Mind Warp, I was like, "Oh, I kind of am seeing like Mind Warp makes Aether Tide worse or can make it worse because they go down cards unless you bring them all the way down to 1 card with a Mind Warp, which you're already very happy with, and maybe they just arsenal that card. Like a lot of the times you're like putting down to 2 cards and they just throw a 2 card hand with no arsenal anymore.
Yeah, you're
Um,
right.
So Aethertide is kind of weird because it's also you're not often playing like sigil Aethertide. It doesn't really happen that often. Probably because it's a 2 of, but I don't want it more than 2.
Yeah, because the damage is also a little lackluster. Because if the
It
surge
is.
is like never happening, it's you're not doing much.
Yeah, like I'll play it on a combo turn. Like I played it for 8 damage, and it was like that was good damage. You didn't have an arsenal, but I still like got the 7 vamp. Like obviously,
Yeah.
I'm very happy with that. Uh, but then the Aether Arc probably just would have been better there because then I get a better choice of arsenal with a ponder token.
Yeah. It's like I see this as better either arc in aggro matchups if it comes up, but
And Azalea, yeah.
yeah, in
That that's
Azalea.
that's my deciding factor was like I just if I get paired against Azalea and it's an important match, I would very much like to destroy their arsenal, especially since they only run AB2 typically. So it's like that's just amp 3 with it, which is not impossible to do, especially if they like run the Ledger Me and it's like I have Aether Tide and 3 lightning instants, and it's like okay, I can do this.
Yeah. And it's like I guess you are sort of playing it as a how should I say this? Like a deck building choice of ratios, right? Because more arcane, you want to mathematically you go like 12 to 14 on arcanes.
Yeah.
I think that's like the optimal. And then you also like want more blues. It's like
Yep.
15 plus. So then you have like these two. Fine.
Yeah. I yeah, so I think at the end of the day, like Aethertide is definitely one that's like either getting cut or it's on the like maybe block,
Yeah.
but it's also a very small portion of the deck, and I just wanted to hedge against Azalea mostly.
Yeah. Okay,
I also
cool.
think it's quite good when people are arsenaling D reacts into you, and then you just do an only arcane turn and you Aethertide. But again, like I haven't I've only surged with this like maybe 3 times ever because where the surge mattered.
Yeah.
It's pretty inconsistent with like it's only it's up to your opponent whether or not they have an arsenal. Uh, it could be blue etchings. Honestly, like I wouldn't mind testing that because at least it's a conditional surge, but it's up to me to make it a conditional surge.
Yeah, that's true. And then you again arrive at the point of uh, what if this blue etchings was not the surge and made a ponder if it hit, and
That too. Yeah.
it's like this loop. But yeah,
Yep. It's just whatever you're scared of most, just make it one of those. And for me, it was I don't want to. I want to have some more game into Azalea.
yeah, that's fair. Sigil of really happy you're playing it.
I love this card. It's so good.
Why?
I I've hated it for so long, and I also now I've loved it for so long. So people will take the one arcane more often than you think.
Yep.
So the amp one is like the effect is like I mean obviously the effect is relevant if I'm playing it. Uh, you can kill with it. You can blast to oblivion it. My most common mode is like utilizing it alongside the aether binding, the arm piece.
Mm-hmm.
Um, because like if you have this plus three other sigils, um, that's like let's say on a combo turn, I get someone down really low. This happens somewhat often. I'll get someone down really really low, and then suddenly they're like, and I played out like let's say two sigils and two other instants, and then an arcane, and then an etchings.
Yeah.
Often, I will bring back a sigil of aether instead of a sigil of brilliance if I know they're very low, because then I'm like, presenting a lethal comp, like lethal arcane or very close to lethal arcane, just off of like sigil of aether plus two other things popping. It's also really flexible with aether bindings because you get to choose when you amp when this pops. So if you want this to deal 2 arcane, or if you want this to receive the amp effect from its own destruction, you can do that. If you don't want it to do that, you can also do that. So you could like even just with one bindings and a single sigil of aether, you can just be like, if they have AB1, I'll be like, okay, this is gonna deal 2 arcane to you, and then I'm gonna amp one still. I like that. Um, I've also done some very tricky things, and I still do it sometimes, where I will Sigil of Aether myself to get the amp effect, or I'll Sigil of Aether myself so that it pops my Sigil of Conductivity, so that I get the
Yeah.
embodiment when I need it. It's extremely good to do that alongside the bindings, because it's like Sigil of Aether pops, deal one to myself, destroy Sigil of Conductivity, that also amps. Now I have amp 2 and an embodiment, and I get to just play my turn.
Yeah, that is just
So much good.
I don't know. It's like the Swiss knife of the deck, by the way you
Yeah.
describe it. It's like again we arrive at the conclusion of options are really good.
Options are very good. You can discard it too, and you can pitch it because it's a blue.
And it's also like really annoying if you have like 'cause to my experience I very much resonate where you say that I hated it first and now I love the card. um if I have like 5 card hand and Sigil of Aether pops, my opponent is usually ABing it, right? But
Hmm.
then my 5 card hand is like uh just just what's the word, non-arcane, just physical damage. So it's like
Hmm.
they give 1 card for free, and now I jam them with like a lot of physical attack, and it's like, yeah,
Yeah. There's also been positions where I win off of it just because I have Sigil of Aether, and I'm just like, okay, start of my turn. Before this, this is trying to destroy itself. Hold priority. Here's 3 lightning instants, Volzar, and now this is only dealing like 4 or 5 arcane.
yeah. You can do a
It's great.
lot with this card, and it's really cool. It's like a lot more flexible. It shares the spot with high voltage a little bit, but
Yep.
yeah,
I'm happy with this because it also says Sigil. So
that is true. And I remember the math on this because I had like game on Talishar or something where it was like played 12 sigils. No, wait, 9. How many sigils are there? 9. Yeah, yeah. So 9
yeah,
sigils, and it's like in your first 14 cards, you have like 7.5% chance of not seeing any. That's like kind of high if you play like 2 day
yeah.
tournament. So then I was like, what's the math if you have 11 sigils? And it dropped down to like 4%. So it's like
Oh wow.
instantly like halved. And that's like
Yeah,
big incentive to get like this more sigil names on your deck, and it's like really cool.
yeah, 100%.
Yep. Okay, so then these two sigils, kinda the same but the different.
Yeah. I mean, Sigil Lightning's less interesting to talk about. I will say that one pattern I've noticed in my gameplay and it being improving is when I play out Sigil Lightning more, I do a lot better. You just want to generate your embodiments.
Yes.
So at first I was discarding it a lot because I just kind of viewed it as like, I don't know, it's kind of fine, but actually it's really good. Like embodiments are very strong in the deck. So play out
Yeah.
your Sigil Lightnings. Don't always discard them. And then Sigil Conductivity, like I don't know, it makes Volzar free for the rest of the game in a lot of matchups. The Arcane Shelter is also extraordinarily relevant in many matchups. Like
Yes.
I actually played an Oscilio mirror, and I was able to go down to two in the Oscilio mirror and then kill them because I had the security blanket on of one conductivity out in play, one conductivity in my arsenal. So even though I was only AB one, because I bring in the hood and the boots, but I popped Greaves.
Yep.
Uh, I had a conductivity in play and in arsenal, so I was like, I don't know, I can still AB three essentially while at two life, which is going to be really hard for you to actually get it all with no arsenal and a four card hand. And also, I'm Greaves comboing you right now, so
Yeah. And it's like
uh, cool, cool card.
there's like the kind of like tier list or pyramid of priorities that you want to do on Auxilia of like not breaking, right? And it's
Hmm.
like top of that list is having embodiments.
Yep.
So it's good.
Yeah, you just play all the embodiment. If we had another embodiment maker, we'd probably be playing it right now.
Yeah, I think so too. Inventory side. You said Entwine Lighting and Lighting Press on the Curious side.
Yep.
How you feel about them?
And Twine Lightning's just super consistent. It's
Yeah.
like I don't know. It's like basically E Strike again, but a little easier to play because you don't have to actually bottom the card.
Yeah.
Uh, it's really good with Somersault. You Entwine Lightning fuse with Somersault or maybe some other innocuous card, and then you return it, and then you play it again and fuse again, and then that's like 8 damage out of nowhere. Um, kind of good into it's kind of great to do two breakpoint attacks into Enigma, like
Yes.
or even just in general. And with Enchanted Lightning Valley, suddenly your Lightning Valleys are a lot better.
Yeah, and the thing also is that at least happens to me quite often now that we have the D-Rex and block board is that you like block 3 cards and then it just send Entwine for 4. And it's like
Yeah,
above red turn.
yeah,
It's like cool.
I'm very happy with that. It
Yeah.
says four on the card and go again. So even if without the go again, it's still just four. Very
Yes.
happy.
But why the fuck is the lightning up here and not like down here on the
That'd be nice.
yeah.
Yeah, I would like that. Acilio spec, maybe.
Yeah.
Now we need better
Press
things than that.
press has been talk of the thing for a while now because it fizzles with Gun and Flash, but you decided to bring 4. 3, sorry.
Yeah.
So,
I love press. So press has been in and out until like the last few weeks. I'm just like, no, I'm just a press truther, I guess, because you know part of Acilio has been, and I think a lot of people have been cutting Fry
yeah.
recently, and I'm like, man, I really like the pattern of Fry, but I hate that it blocks zero, and I hate that I can't like cycle it. And Lightning Press you can cycle, so I was really happy to play Press because you get a lot of surprise damage when you play Cheerios, and it still works with Gone in a Flash on the combo turn. It just turns into a somersault, electromagnetic somersault for Gone in a Flash combo turns, which I'm still happy to play. But also sometimes you just are like, I don't know, it's surprise damage, so it might be worth it on the combo turn to make this your last instant, but not return Gone in a Flash because you're just getting surprise damage.
Yeah.
It's very contextual in that regard, but also it plays really well with Blast. It plays well with Flittering Charge.
It
It plays well with E Strike. Like suddenly E Strike, you'll you'll E Strike for 7, and then they're like, okay, block 6, and I'm like, okay, here's a Lightning Press or two. Kind of
yeah.
cool.
Yeah, it is. The one issue there is though that this does not work like somersault. It doesn't work at all with gun and flash during combo turn because it says target attack action. So
Oh,
if
does it fizzle itself?
yeah, it does visual itself if you pick up gun and
Oh,
flash. So that's why people have been cutting on it. But
I
the
wonder if
thing,
Talshar's bugged then. I
uh,
think
I
it
th-
worked
I think it is
in
bugged,
there.
but you
Okay.
can do it as like your last spell where you like
Mhm.
you play gun and flash. It's in the resolution step or whatever
Yep.
not resolution step, but before it like hits the attacking state,
Yeah.
and then you
Yeah. During the
press it.
reaction. Oh yeah. Yeah. You can press it. Uh, before the attack trigger enters.
Yes,
Right. You play Gone and Flash. It says when this attacks. Before that, when this attacks trigger happens, you lightning press it. So suddenly it's attacking for 7, and you still got the go again on the lightning press Greaves.
yes,
Uh, Also, like it's kind of fine. Like I don't know when there's like 3 card hands that are like uh electrostatic discharge, sigil of anything, it doesn't matter. Sigil of Aether for all, whatever. And then Gone in a Flash. And you're like, if it's electrostatic discharge, I just play discharge, attack with Gone in a Flash for 7, and then return it and arsenal it. And Lightning Press does the exact same thing in that situation.
yes. It does have the instant tag that it like at the end of the day it gives you back the uh cannon flash. Dude, I'm blanking out a lot
Yeah.
for some reason, but yeah, it's like uh these card stocks are going up and up the less we land we're on a combo, and
Yep.
this does bring your normal turns up the floor on them. So I like that
Makes your
analogy.
prism match makes your prism matchup a little better too, which is cool.
Yeah, it does make the popper as well.
It makes poppers. Yep. Definitely have done that a lot. Pretty cool.
Yeah. Then the big spell side, you got Spindle and Magnetism here.
Yep.
So
Uh, yeah, they're just good cards. Like, I really like them. I've definitely been up and down on them. Like, bringing Spindle down to 2, bringing Magnetism down to 2. And then I'm like, oh my god, I really missed those cards. They're back in, and then
yes.
they're just like crucial to the big spell side. I think. Magnetism, it blocks 3. It's a lightning card. The pitch one is very reasonable in big spell since you're pitching more often, and you want to I think the big spell side can use CLV quite well. If I'm like, here's, let's say I already had a sigil connectivity out or something, attacking with magnetism, and I pitched a sigil lightning or something, some lightning blue current funnel for all I care,
Yeah.
and then they're like, okay, block 6, and I'm like, okay, CLV amp 2 now because I've played 2 lightning and I have a lightning in my pitch from the magnetism. Then here's Spindle, or here's Mind Warp for 5 or for 6 or whatever card I end up playing. It's just
Yeah.
really strong, and then I get the CLV trigger and I still get to Arsenal.
Yeah, it's like the
It's,
best small card hand player, but it also does play big hands pretty well.
yep,
I think people are just a little allergic for some reason still about pitching cards in Australia, but it's like
yeah.
it's really
But we have
good.
16 blues, or at least I
We
do.
do.
I have 16 blues, so
Yeah.
pitching's fine.
Yeah, it is
Pitch a red,
fun.
I
And
don't
the
care.
important thing about Athletic is that a lot of cards you send after that has like Surge, if we're not talking like Spindle, especially, and it has the lightning tag. So your Surge is always online. So you're always demanding a card on top of like making almost on rate damage. If you play it
Yep,
off of Tunic, it's like
it
insane
gets pretty.
value.
Yeah, like if it's even just a 2 card hand where you tunic it and you already had a sigil out, like connectivity, and you because connectivity, it just sticks around in a lot of matchups,
Yeah.
especially when you bring in big spell. It's like these are a lot of big spell matchups are warriors and guardians where you're definitely not taking arcane. So connectivity is out a lot of the time, and you just do tunic. 2 card hand is of like tunic with magnetism and etchings. It's just like this is fantastic.
It
This
is.
is a 2 card 9.
It is, and Tunic is so great once you start using it to something else as well as banking to always just to combo. It makes really good turns.
Yeah, yep.
How do you feel about this D-Rex then?
Well, I was a hater and now I'm a believer.
Good.
Um, I just had to play it and just like stop caring so much about like the giant combo,
Yeah.
and it got a lot better. Um, it's absolutely crucial in beating our aggro matchups. It's extra gas into new and guardian, which
Yep.
where can be like guardian can be surprisingly difficult without the sinks and fates. It fixes your sync fixes your hands, and fate also fixes your hands because you get to see what card it is, and then you get to discard your worst instant to draw it
Yep.
if that's what you need. Um, it's just it's like these were already good D reacts in the game, obviously, and with oscilio they're extra good.
They are, and the counter argument why they are not good in oscilio is because you hate drawing them during combo turns. But then again, it's like we're not playing for that big of a combo. Because
Yeah.
that happened twice to me at Armory yesterday, where I wanted the combo, but the card I drew in the hand was always a day react, and I was like, whatever, block 4. Because if you run the numbers, if you get lightning instant, it's 5 value. If it's not lightning instant, it's 4 value for the combo turn. But then again, you're plugging also for 4 and fixing your
Yep.
hand and your draws. So whatever.
And like it's helping the azalea it's helping our worst matchups, and that's what I at the end of the day that's what I was most trying to do with these. Like Sink Below used to be blue memorial ground with the idea of, oh, I can grind out the game a bit more by like
Yeah,
returning E strikes. And I still kind of like memorial ground, but overall these are just better.
yeah,
And I forget what fate was. I think fate was a glyph overlay, and I decided against it, and I'd rather just block 4.
yeah. I can see that. Crown of Providence over Balance of Justice. Why?
Balance of Justice was only used in the brutes and in like other lightning heroes and just dash io, and like the only real loss of Balance of Justice is that I am not bringing it into dash io, but the bonus is that I get to play into the disruptive matchups, which are the ones I'm more worried about anyways, like azalea and new, and I get just an out to their arsenal disruption once per game. So
Well, I like that.
when you're taxed into putting Gone in a Flash in your arsenal, and then they hit you with that CNC, and you can't block it, Crown of Providence is there to at least put it on the bottom of your deck and draw you a new card.
Yeah,
And yeah,
it's just bypassing the first Arsenal hit.
bypassing first Arsenal hate, and then sometimes if the Arsenal hate never comes, uh, like I bring it into Dash IO just because it's also just really good defense and fix up a hand that otherwise couldn't block or
Yeah,
couldn't effectively attack the next turn. Like Acilio's already a deck that's like values fixing your hands, and Crown of Providence has always been able to fix hands. So
yeah.
great card.
Cool analogy on there. I guess we don't have time to go over the matchup configurations here, because I said this was not gonna take for an hour for you, and we have already been
Yeah.
here for over an hour. I'm very sorry about that.
It's okay. I'm also having fun. So
Yeah,
if I
it's just
remember, I would have stopped.
yeah,
But
yeah.
um, I can go over the matchups in under. It won't take me long since I've already like kind of touched on a few of them,
Okay,
and there's not
cool.
matchups.
Let's speed run them. It's your
Yeah,
schedule, so just say
yeah,
when we
yeah.
stop.
Yeah, okay, that sounds good to me. Okay, so matchups. Azalea, I'm trying to board out a decent amount of instants because I just want to be able to block a little better.
Yep.
Um, and I go kind of on the big spell side. First or second, I go big spell. You can see in my sideboard, I took out 3 sigil conductivities, 2 sigil vathers. Uh, I don't need as many blues. Uh, I mean, right, I'm going big spell, but I still have plenty of blues and yellows to be able to do the thing I need to do.
Yeah.
So I'm just looking to block more and just stay alive and do a good combo when I'm finally not under red in the ledger.
Yeah, yeah. And if you don't
It's a
have the
hard
blue, these big spell cards that stuck in your hand blocks for 30, so
exactly. This is also the matchup I use for what is it? Azalea, New, and Azuri. So just assassins in general. I think against Arachne, I'd just bring in like 3 extra cards or something. But
yeah, makes sense.
New is also a matchup I'm worried about. So similar, like I want to just be able to block better and uh, punish whatever AB setup the New tries to bring in.
Yes, they do have different types of configurations now. I can't figure out what is like the best in slot for them, but or like what do they run the
I,
most, but
I would assume that AB3 Spell Void 2 is like when people like what should I bring in against Cecilia? I'm like AB3 Spell Void 2 is the most annoying.
yeah. But some news are saying that their hands are so important that they don't want to bring like the AB1 SV1 hand. So
Hmm.
I don't know. They do have good options for sure.
They have great options. Yeah, it's up to them.
Uh, then here's like the big spell we talked about. I guess we don't not need to talk about this. Yeah, big spell and Cheerios you already talked off.
Yeah, if people need to understand what big spell like when to switch because the whole deck is switchboard, right? It's
Yeah,
the same concept you and Taylor
yeah,
talked about a couple weeks ago. Big spell and Cheerios is just If you go second, you play Cheerios. If you go first, you play Big Spell.
Yeah, if you don't need
That's the idea.
these different kind of like silver bullet types of sideboard cards.
Yep.
Then we have Conjure Blessings here.
Yeah, let's see what because I didn't have to run into Counter Blessings, luckily.
Yeah,
So yeah,
people have
Sigil
been
Sauce comes
off.
out. Yep. I've been glad to see less of that that deck.
Yeah,
It's pretty annoying to play against. I think Oscilio is well positioned against them anyways.
yeah,
But
I agree.
yeah, you just make sure that you're playing your most aggressive cards. Uh, so I take out Sigil Solace, throw in Ether Spindle,
Mm-hmm.
just as like more damage.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm pretty happy with this.
yeah, this makes 100% sense. You just threaten them because they let you keep your hands pretty good. So
Yeah, yeah.
we got Dash IO here.
Dash IO is neat because I have to take out a lot of instants. The goal of this is to
Ooh,
be. Yep. My goal is to just bring in as every single card that can block in my deck in a 60 card deck. So that results in me taking out Electrostatic Discharge.
that is spicy. I love that.
Yeah. I could also be taking out, I think actually in the PQ, you can be kind of flexible with it. Like I took out 2 Sigil Lightnings instead of 2 of the discharges. That way I
Okay.
could just have a little bit more combo-y turns if it goes that way. Because you never know which way it's going to break in the Dash IO matchup. Usually you're very defensive. Like that's the whole point. Is just like as defensive as you can get, plus you're sending back some decent mid-range damage.
Yeah.
And then sometimes you can just combo them, and then you just do it, and then you get really far ahead.
Really cool sideboard here. I like this. It's different.
Yeah. The only thing I'd change is the Flash of Brilliance would be Crown of Providence.
Ah, that's fair. Yeah.
Yeah.
Then here we got defensive. This is against who?
Defensive is like kind of saying like this deck switches between 3 different modes: Big
Okay.
Spell, Cheerios, and defensive. So defensive being like you've kind of seen it across other matchups, but this is generally what like if you felt like you needed your 5 D reacts, this is what I would do. Just take out 5 instants, maybe some Channel Lightning Valleys, because you're not going to be able to attack them as much.
Yeah, makes
Uh,
sense.
it's definitely very flexible, and I kind of just go off the mood I'm in into each matchup. So like Dash AL, I'm like, I'm not going to hit them as much. I should probably take out some valleys.
Yeah, I like that. I never bring any matchup sheets to me on the tournaments. I just go off with vibes or whatever I remember.
Yeah, yeah, I go off vibes quite often.
Then we have the Enigma here. You take out just board and damage, really.
Yeah, just board and damage. It's very similar to CYB, if
Yep.
not. I think it's actually the same.
It's
I would
identical, I think.
consider I would consider Tunic instead of Spring, but I think Spring is more important because sometimes you do just have that turn 2 combo and you just kind of want
I
to
see.
kill him.
I see, yeah. And
You're only gonna activate it once.
you take out magnetism, so Tunic gets like less important.
Yeah, yeah.
That makes sense. We got Florian now here.
One other note on Enigma, it's one of our best matchups. That's a selling point mostly.
Oh
Uh,
yeah.
yeah. Oh, you hate playing against Enigma, do you? Play some
No, no,
Oscilio.
no, no, no.
Fantastic.
I love playing against Enigma. I think it's
Well,
fun matchup.
Well, now I do. Now I do.
Oh, oh
uh,
yeah, yeah,
I think Enigma's an interesting character to play against in general,
yeah.
but I definitely, if I was a Guardian player, I probably wouldn't feel the same. Like
Yeah.
I'd be like, oh man, this sucks. I hate this.
Yeah,
Uh,
that's true.
Cilio is like it's really good matchup. Florian, I only listed Florian here very specifically because you go Big Spell or Cheerios still based on the turn order. But the really key thing that I didn't want to have myself forget is that you take out Sigil of Solace because you're likely to be a higher life total than them, and they're going to be playing Reaping Blade like 95% of the time.
Yeah,
So
I do
like Sigil
like.
of Solace gets a lot worse.
Yeah, I do like also boarding out Sigil of Solace in the matchups where I don't think life matters at all. So where it's just
Yep,
us on the driver's seat, so you take that out for
I do that. Yep,
more damage.
yep, 100% agree. And that's kind of where like Lightning Press is like aggressive Sigil of Solace,
Yeah, that's
right? It's
true.
like this is
Yep,
3 damage instead of 3 life. Kind of fun.
yep, I like that. Uh,
Uh,
Kano and
Kano.
Oscilio.
Yep.
So this
So
is
Kano, it's very Cheerios. I don't think I ever go Big Spell into Cilio. I haven't decided how the mirror exactly breaks. Uh, mostly because shock charmers. Like we're gonna play shock charmers against each other almost every time.
Yeah.
I've seen some people go aether bindings, and I think that's a mistake. I think
Yeah, shock
spell
charmers does have the effect of just negating the first surge effect that's relevant.
yeah, the first one that you're uh that you're happy or not happy to take, right?
Yeah.
So if it's like, and also I bring an AB too, so it's like, I can negate up to 4 arcane, which is quite relevant. One time and then 2 arcane the rest of the game.
Yeah,
And at some
that
point you probably break your boots and then you're down to 1 arcane, which is still really good.
yeah, that is like sufficient enough for the whole game outside of Greed's turn. So
Yep.
usually the matchup is just very aggro. Whoever that gets the tempo or has the bigger combo turn kind of ends there. But yeah,
Yeah, and then in Kano, I feel pretty good into Kano,
same.
mostly because of shock charmers though. It's not, they have 30 life.
Yeah,
Kill them.
the turn clock is very fast for Kano. They have only kind of like 3 turns to get
Yep.
get the combo, and then we have additional 20 life on the board against them. So
With the shock charmers and the 2 AB. Yeah.
yeah, and then Victor.
Victor. So Victor used to be the exact same board as the very top one, the Azalea New Azuri,
Yeah,
right?
I see.
Like generally just being like, I don't, if you're a disruptive deck, here's what I do. But Victor, I switched up one thing, making sure the list. Oh, the list isn't
So
gone.
you took flittering charges out and
I did.
then
Okay.
put
Yeah.
in conductivities 2 off and then 1 of something else.
The Sigil of Aether.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Usually I
true,
go
true,
down
true.
to Sigil of Aether. I think that you can punish Victor's arcane barrier setup very easily,
Yeah,
and Sigil of Aether just does a better job. And then I think I touched on it earlier, but Flittering Charge is the only time I ever take it out is this matchup exactly, because it's a 4 damage attack, and they have a cool card called Test of Strength and
yeah,
Trounce that are very annoying to play against. So I just want to, even in the Rhinar days, like when I play, and I'll still play. I'll come back to Rhinar, I'm sure, but one of my best strategies and tips I give to people that are having trouble against Victor is sometimes you just go to like one card and then Arsenal pass, and then you're stranding them with Test of Strengths or something. And I'm happy to take that bet. I'm happy to say, hey, you have to figure out how you're going to play out your hand. And
yeah.
sometimes love the Zealous, but we're also a deck that blocks well, and
It
we're a deck
is.
that can go over the top. So
It is. Yeah, that's something that Victor struggles on. Is that where we need to play more on the setup combo style instead of aggro. Um, like Victor against ninjas is that ninjas do that also very often, where it's just they kind of IP, maybe IP 2 sometimes, and the next turn is like the big turn. So you don't want to just send consistent numbers all the time.
yeah, you just want to punish their setup,
Yep.
and I felt like this was doing better. It also like lets you play a better combo because Flittering Charge. I love Flittering Charge, but also I will Flash of Brilliance it a lot. So like making that the discard on my
Yep.
headpiece because it doesn't play like it plays fine on the combo turn, but I'd rather have an instant. And would you look at that? I can just discard it and return a conductivity at least, and even better, return a brilliance.
Yeah. Makes sense. Makes sense. Fantastic job on this deck. I really like the sideboards and all that. I'm sorry this took so long. I said this
Oh no,
is
no,
not gonna take
I'm
an
good.
hour.
I'm good.
Yeah.
I'll be fine with the meeting.
Okay.
As
Good.
like it'll be fine. It's
Good.
not a big deal.
This was just a lot
Um,
of yapping. Love to talk to you about the deck though, and also in general.
yeah, I like watching your videos a lot and chatting with you over Discord. So getting a chance to talk to you in voice chat and going over my list, like I feel very strongly about Oscilio. It's
Cool.
I never thought I would like a deck more than Rhinar, and like it feels scandalous for me to say that. I just love Oscilio. He's so fun.
No, yeah, that's really good, and I do love chatting about Australia a lot. If you haven't
Me
noticed,
too.
and then
Yep.
that was like kind of my point of the YouTube channel where I just was tired of typing the same thing over in text messages, so I just made a video,
Yeah,
and then I made
I
more
like
videos.
that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so I'm down
The
to chat
Oscilio
anytime.
Discord. Yeah, the Oscilio Discord is alive and well. I would say in no small part thanks to you. So thank you for making all those videos and chatting.
No, I'm
keeping the Oscilio alive.
really happy to chat with people. I'm more happy to see Australia do well, and
Hmm.
you're bringing honor to Australia, so it's really
Yep,
cool.
yep. I'm
Congratulations.
bringing them to calling Portland. We'll see how that
Ooh,
goes.
good luck on
Uh,
there.
I know Taylor has said like this will be his favorite armory deck, but I'm just gonna keep bringing it.
Yeah, that's what I'll do. Bring me everywhere. But
Yeah,
yeah, all right. Thanks for chatting.
yeah. Thank you so much.